A few moments later.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Freedom Report. The broadcast will start shortly after this brief song.
I got arrested just a few days ago in a sting operation for my 13th time. My brother's the 16th time. I mean, we are getting some Guinness Book of Records. This is unbelievable. I would never think that in Canada you would have to do this. It's unbelievable.
Stefanos, you're frozen. Oh man, they gotta change your modem.
1 hour later.
Forgive my paper here, but you know what? When it's that song, you write on anything you get. God bless you. Amen. Thank you.
Very large crowd here. So, very large line of protesters, very large line of police and riot police who are actually moving further. But I was, just before I even turned this phone on, they weren't coming over this snow hill up here, but here, I'll show you everybody. Yeah, they're coming over this snowbank and they're going to want to push everybody out of here.
Ed, you're muted.
Well, I'm just going to start by saying I never expected to be the guy in front of the cameras, in front of the media. I just wanted to grill. I just wanted to run my business, sell our sandwiches and our platters of meat, give good job opportunities to people, and try to enrich my local community with the kind of food that I can make. I've been put in this strange position where I had no choice but to engage in civil disobedience. So.
Of all biggest crowds in Edmonton, I salute you all, freedom fighters. I'm a freedom-loving pathologist, and I've got a big career on the line here. I've spent my entire life in evidence-based medicine, being a good guy, a soldier for organized medicine, and then that's not good enough. I'm spreading, according to them, misinformation, except the only problem is they won't tell you what the information is that I'm misinforming you about.
But you told me that they had their safeties off, right?
Well, there was one guy standing there with the AR, there was kids around, and one fellow said, why do you have ARs, full tactical gear, with you when we're unarmed, and there's kids around?
Oh, there we go. Playing most games again.
Yeah.
So this is gonna be what you want to share out, guys.
Freedom Report has special guests like April Lejeune, Pat King, Conrad R.C. Goodser, Artur Pulowski, Misty Wind, Mike Martins, Chris Sky, Jason J. Manpachernik, Aaron Barker, Dr. Daniel Nagase, Adam Skelly.
And you have to prove that you have a lawful reason to be there. And I say your lawful reason is Section 6 of the...
You have a lawful reason to be here because you're a citizen of Canada.
That's right.
Everything about all the corruption and the voting scandals. Just wait till
Police started coming in and taking people's stuff again, and I thought that was illegal. They just said that the first time. They're supposed to return everything.
Freedom Report. Broadcast starts now. Thank you for watching. Hey, how's it going, everybody? This is Freedom Report. Derek Story. We got a whole bunch of people. We don't only have Angela on. We have Barry Prince coming on for the first half hour. If he ever jumps in, Ed.
Yeah, Barry should be here shortly. Guess what we're going to be talking about tonight? We're going to start the show off talking about this stuff.
What's that, beer?
Nope. Keep guessing. What's that?
Is it chaga?
Yeah, chaga.
Nice.
So
Good for
you
you.
can buy it like this. And this little jar here, it's only 8 ounces. I think I paid about $35 for this. Going back almost 2-3 years.
Sweet.
Yeah, so people have been asking on the show about chaga, and Barry's got a good source for it coming out of the Yukon, I believe. Or at least it's
about it.
Man, we're getting a lot of feedback off your mic.
Try
And
down
yes, Hashem. Barry is going to be talking about chaga.
How's that?
Better, thank you.
All right.
So one of our patriots in Toronto, she had her apartment catch fire last night, and got no place to live. If there's anyone in downtown Core that has
Who's that?
for a lady, Linda will tell you who it is. Just get a hold of Linda on Facebook, and she knows this lady quite well. So anyways, if someone's got room for a lady in her 50s and she's short and she's got a nice little well-behaved dog, medium to small size.
Oh, I know who it is. Yeah, please, guys, help her out. She's a sweet lady.
What else can we talk about? Where's Barry? He's late.
Very slacking.
Anyways, around 9:30, Angela Argentina is going to be joining us. She's going to be talking about healthy cooking, detoxing, all kinds of good stuff.
Well, detoxing is good, especially with all the stuff that we breathe in and the protein spikes and all that kind of stuff. It's good to detox your body once in a while.
Have you done it before?
I've done a few detoxes before.
Really? Because I've only heard stories about you detoxing.
You fast and you detox.
I know you've been toxifying yourself quite often.
Yeah.
So you ever had chaga, Derek?
Well, of course I've had chaga. With
You ever harvest
John, a few people I know here.
So what people don't realize is maybe Barry is getting his chaga ready for the show. I don't know. Let's ask him when he comes in here. You finally got here, eh?
Hey, better late than never.
So people are speculating.
You know, the worst thing to do is to try and talk after you've had a meal. Because right now I feel like laying down and going to sleep. That's what happens when you get old, man. But anyways, I'm here.
Guess what I'm drinking?
I'm not drinking that right now. I don't drink it this time of day because if I do, I might do midnight.
You drink chaga, you'll be up till midnight.
Yeah, man. When I play hockey, my trick when I play hockey, my secret is to take a bottle of water and put about 4 ounces of chaga in it, and I drink that just before I step on the ice, and it's like it turns you into Superman. You're buzzing for about an hour and a half. Super energy, better than any Red Bull or 5 Hour Energy or Monster Energy that you'll ever drink. Try it sometime, guys.
Are you sure you're putting chaga in there and not weed oil?
Maybe I get a little bit of the weed oil in there too. Who knows, man? I got all kinds of different bottles here of stuff, man. I mean, turmeric, lion's tail. I got all kinds of neat shit, man. You know, the older you get, the more you start looking into all these naturals, because the more you take these naturals, the better your body feels. And I need all the help I'm getting now because I'm 67. How old are you, Ed?
I'm 23.
And Derek, you're 19, right?
Derek's muted. Derek, no, I don't think he's 19.
37. Still
okay,
a young
37 going on 20. Anyways, gentlemen, you wanted to talk about chaga a little bit tonight.
Yeah, so people have been asking about it on the show and where you can get it. So I figured, you know what, we'll bring you on tonight, seeing as how we're doing a health awareness show as I have a cigarette.
Well, I just ordered 50 pounds today from the Yukon. After I talked to you today, Ed, I made another order, and I'll have it probably in 10 days because I had to get a money order made up for the guy because I don't deal with banks. So I've mailed him a money order, and he'll get it, and then I'll get my product. So 10 days from now, I'll have about 50 pounds.
So
right now, about 10 pounds of it.
Okay, so if people want to get more of it, how do they get a hold of you?
Well, same way they got in hold of me before, man. I put my number out here, and you can find me on Facebook. I'm really easy to find. Or I can give you my email, and you can email me.
What do you prefer?
Any other, doesn't matter, man. I'm always around. My cell phone, I've always got my cell phone on, so that's always a good way to get in touch with me.
What happens when you go mushroom picking in the next week or so?
I'm going to be leaving in about, it sounds like I was talking to Roy down in Clearwater today. It sounds like 2 weeks, maybe 3 at the most, and I'll be in the bush because they're already finding nibs in the fires. So
Sorry, they're already finding what?
When they start to find the nibs of the morels, we call them the nibs. That's just when they start to break the ground. From that point to full production of morels is about 2 weeks. So we're looking at maybe 2 or 3 weeks, and I'll be gone for 2 months.
Okay, so at that point, if people want to get it, can they still get it or not?
I should have this order. I mailed the money order this afternoon, Ed. After I talked to you, I phoned them, and I should be able to get it within 10 days. It doesn't, mail only takes about 4 days to get up there. So, and then for him to ship it back down, I'll probably have Chaga in less than 10 days. So I could fill some orders before I leave for the bush. But when I leave for the bush, I'm incognito for, I hope, for 2 months this year. It's going to be a good morel season.
All right, guys. Well,
anybody that wants to make money, get out here because there's going to be money in the bush this year. Anybody that doesn't do it has no idea what they're missing, Ed. No idea.
Yeah, they're missing all the black flies and mosquitoes.
You got to put up with the black flies and mosquitoes. If you pick morels, you get to learn to live with them.
Oh, you can also drink pickle juice.
I use what's this? Oh shit! I can't even think of the name of the stuff. Citronella, and what's the other one that I use? Combination of those two. Shit! I can't even think of the name of it, Ed. My brain has gone blank here.
So Daniel Faith wants to place an order.
My phone number, guys, just call me. That's the best way to get in touch with me. And after the show tonight, I will take some orders. But like I said, I'm not going to have dry product for about, I figure, 10 days, but I will fill some orders before I leave. But I do have I got about 6 or 8 bottles of concentrate here right now available. That's all I got right now. But like I said, 10 days, I'll have some dry stuff for you. So anybody who wants to place an order, let me know. And when I get it, I'll ship it out the same day before I head for the bush. I don't think.
What's the phone number, Barry?
I think it's going to be a little bit more than 2 weeks before I leave for morels, Ed.
What's the phone number?
250
250
631
631
7660.
And the best email?
bbart709.
Sorry, email for money transfers.
Okay. Well, no, I don't have a bank account. So if somebody orders Chaga, I have a bank account or an email address that I can have money sent to, and I have
What is that?
Fun guy. When somebody places an order, I'll give you an email. Okay, Ed? You don't need that right now. If you place an order, I'll give you an email to send.
Set it up when it happens.
Huh?
You'll set it up when you get the order.
Yeah, no problem. Like I said, I'm not going to have, like I said, guys, I'm not going to have any for about 10 days. But I don't plan on going for probably a little over 2 weeks, so it'll leave me some time to ship some Chaga as soon as I get it here. So anybody who wants it, just get in touch with me, and I'll make a list, and the moment I got it, I'll ship a bunch out.
You just went silent.
And that's that. So anybody who really wants to know anything about chaga, Ed, instead of me, I could sit here and tell you what I know about chaga, which is limited compared to some of the people in the world that have been involved with chaga. You can go on the internet and you can Google on YouTube chaga mushroom superfood, and there's probably you'll have links there to probably 100 different videos. They'll explain to you exactly what chaga does to your body, what the ballotilic acid does, how it supercharges your immune system, which is really, really important for anybody that's been double jabbed and they're resenting it now, and they wish they had, because we are finding out exactly what it does to the immune system in the human body. That every time we get jabbed with these beautiful experimental drugs the government's providing us with, it affects your immune system, and that's been proven now. So more now than ever, you want something that's going to boost your immune system. And chaga is considered one of the super boosting immune foods in the world. It's the highest antioxidant of any plant known to man. There isn't a plant in the world that has higher antioxidant properties than chaga mushrooms. And you can look on a scale called the Orca scale. I talked about it before, Ed, on your show. The Orca scale rates every nutritional plant known to man in the world today is in that scale. And
So these,
chaga is number one on the scale. So what does that tell you? And that's above everything that's known to man. You want to talk turmeric or reishi or cotton, anything you talk about, chaga blows it out of the box.
focus. Come on, camera. The camera doesn't want to focus so people can read this. Anyways, the way I make the stuff is
So
I'll
you're
take.
you're making yourself a tea, right?
Yeah, I make myself a tea and I steep it many, many hours, usually 6 to 8 hours. So what I'll do is it comes as when you get it from Barry, hopefully it won't send you these giant chunks like I got.
Hey, Ed, all you have to do is break that into 3 pieces and do a low heat extraction. I told you I'd run through the process. That's the best way to get the nutrients out of your chaga, bar none. And if you Google it on chaga sites, if you go to any of the chaga sites, Google low heat extraction process for chaga mushroom, and it'll go through the process that I go through every time I make a juice. It takes me 36 hours to produce my concentrate. And I've been doing it the same way for 7 years now.
So what I do is I take this and break it into smaller than a golf ball, and a golf ball size is usually good for about 3 or 4 liters of water for tea.
Yeah.
So what I'll do is I'll take that golf ball and I'll put it in a blender or a super bullet.
Yeah, grind it up
and powder, like turn it to dust.
Yeah.
And then
I'll just run it through.
Just lay it through, warm it up slowly, and I'll keep an eye on the temperature. I'll take a meat thermometer and I'll make sure it does not go over 180 degrees Fahrenheit.
Oh, that's
ideally
good.
You want to keep it at 160.
Yeah, you don't want to get any more than that, Ed, because you'll kill the nutrients in the chaga.
Yeah, and then
you never let it want to boil.
Yeah, and I'll stir it a few times, and then once it gets up to temperature, turn the stove right down to almost nothing, and then I'll pull it off. So it's just the corner getting heated, and I'll keep checking the temperature and make sure it sits around 160, and it'll stay there for 6 to 8 hours. I'll stir it a few times, and usually by the morning, if you start it in the evening, by the morning after it's cooled down, it's ready to drink. Just add a little bit of honey, because for some reason it takes almost nothing to sweeten this, eh?
Well, I put it in my coffee every day, Ed. And actually, that's not the best way to put it in your body, to be honest. But I do it, and it makes my coffee taste really good. So I've been putting it in my coffee every morning for the last 7-8 years.
So yeah, but you're putting in the extract, right?
Yeah, I do what they call, like I said, a low heat extraction process. 36 hours it takes me to do it. And the only difference really between what you're doing and what I'm doing is the flash freezing of your product halfway through your extraction process, because what that does, it shocks the chaga and it opens up any pores in the chaga that the heat hasn't opened up by flash freezing it, which I do with my chunks about 17 hours into my process. I take my chunks in. I've got my pot set up so I have a screen in the bottom. I can lift the screen out and the chunks all come out. I stick those in my freezer for about an hour and 20 minutes till they're frozen. And then I put them back in my pot, and then I'll simmer them again for about 17 or 18 hours at about 160 degrees. And I'm using a laser thermometer to monitor my temperature all the time. So I make sure I don't get too hot. Make sure if I have it going overnight that I turn the temperature down. I add enough water that it's not going to boil off.
Well, I
I've
keep
been
a lid
doing it
on
for
mine.
a few years now, so I kind of got it down to an art. But it's not a hard process to go through. And said you can go on the internet, punch up that search engine, and you'll find the process that I'm doing. And it's easy to follow. Nothing to it.
So you're still playing ice hockey at the age of 67, eh?
Huh?
You're still playing ice hockey at the age of 67.
Well, actually, the last 2 years, Ed, excuse my language, they screwed me over because I don't take the shot. And our arena requires the Vax Pass and mask to get in. And I don't do either. So for the last 2 years, I haven't been able to go to the arena. I went out to the lake this year. We had a real cold spell there for about a month. There was enough ice frozen on the lake that we could go out there and skate. I was out there maybe 4 times this year. That was it. That's all I got to play hockey this winter. So hopefully I can play next year. But my body still feels like I can go after the puck. So as long as they let me in this fall, I will go play hockey again.
So can I pull out a chunk and gnaw on it? No way. Not fresh chaga.
Say what was that?
Can you pull out a chunk of and gnaw on it? The chaga, you're gonna break all your teeth.
No, you don't. You never do that. That's not the way you do it at all. You have to extract the ingredients out of the chaga with either heat or what Ed's doing with a tea. I've never heard of anybody eating raw chaga. I've also had people ask me if you can smoke it. Well, I've never tried it, and I wouldn't be able to say. But boy, people, well, can you smoke it, Barry? Nope, I don't know about that. But I've heard of people smoking it. But
side effects of chaga for a diabetic could cause a serious drop in blood sugar.
One thing that you got to be aware of with chaga, folks, is that it is a blood thinner. So if somebody that's getting on chaga is using a prescription drug thinner, there can be a conflict there, and it can cause serious problems. So anybody that's using a prescription blood thinner, I do not recommend they even go close to chaga unless they want to stop using the prescription blood thinner and going to chaga and using it as a blood thinner because it's excellent blood thinner.
So Jennifer doesn't use any sweetener. How would you describe the taste of it? Kind of like coffee or what?
Oh, it's kind of a birchy, earthy taste. I don't know. It tastes fine, man. Nothing to it. It's not a rude taste. Just a little, almost an earthy, birchy. How do I describe it? Birchy, earthy taste. I'm actually making, believe it or not, Ed, I just got a case of birch water from my neighbors. They have a whole bunch of birch trees on their property, and they rounded up a whole bunch of birch water. And I am going to do a small batch of my chaga with birch water. That couldn't be any better, as far as I'm concerned. Anything that comes from the birch tree is good for your body. And if you go on the internet right now and Google birch water, you'll find out how many people are starting to get into that and what are some of the properties of birch water. So I figure if I do that, I made some pine needle tea this week with birch water, and it seemed to have quite a kick to it. But people know about pine needle tea, don't they, Ed? I mean, there's one of the most nutritious things you can put in your body, man. Just pine needles and water. Bring it, steam it or simmer it for about an hour and drink it. It's incredible what it does to your body.
Well, pine needle tea is supposed to have something in it that gets rid of or counteracts the spike protein and helps get it out of your system.
I've heard that, but I can't verify that, Ed. So far, I have not heard. I've heard of some naturals that people claim will remove the MNRA from your body. It removes the effects of the spike protein. I can't verify that, but I've heard it. But until I can actually prove it, I wouldn't say it's real.
So Caroline says it has an earthy taste.
Yeah.
Russ says it tastes like tree. with bush ass on it.
Oh yeah, it does. It tastes like a. I don't know how to describe it other than more than a birchy, earthy taste. It tastes like a little bit of a tree. It tastes like earth. It tastes like I don't know. I've been drinking it for like 7 or 8 years now, and I really like it when I put it in my coffee in the morning. It kind of
So-
really gives me a kick in the ass.
Yeah, so J-Ma, it's not brick water, it's birch water. So birch trees can be tapped for sap just like maple trees can. And
Exactly.
that's been running for the past few weeks, I guess, or is it stopped already?
This was about a month ago. They were rounding up birch water. They have about 14, 18 birch trees on the property, and they had taps in all of them, and they rounded up a whole pile of it. So they brought me over 12 1-liter jars, which I'm using to make a little bit of chaga, small batch, and see how it turns out. But I like using it with the pine needles. That seemed to be a really good kick in the body.
So also, yeah, more people are saying don't take chaga on blood thinners too.
That's what I said. It does thin your blood, which is a good thing. It's one of the good properties of chaga is it does thin your blood. But if you're, like I said, if you're on a prescription drug thinner and you add the two together, it can. I've actually heard of a person dying from that. So beware. And if I passing it on to anybody, I always ask them if they're on any kind of a blood thinner. If they are, then I tell them what I know about it and leave it in their hands whether or not they want to take it or not.
So have you ever heard of Shomac as well? Tea?
Shomac.
Yeah.
Don't think I've heard of that.
Sumac.
I might have heard that. I think I've heard of that.
Sumac's type of tree, isn't it?
Sumac?
Yeah. Sumac is type of tree, I believe.
I've never heard of that up here in this neck of the woods. And I'm pretty familiar with all the trees that are up here. I've never heard of that one.
So, yeah, sermon is the active ingredient in pine needle tea. It's also found in oregano, celery juice, rosemary, all decrease spike proteins. And sermon is also found in the tea that I drink almost nightly, which is called fennel tea.
Huh. Well, that's one on me, Ed.
Yeah.
Send me some info.
On fennel?
Yeah, I wouldn't. Anything that you find out about, any information you've got, I'm always interested in looking at.
Well, apparently, I don't have any digestive issues, but it helps people that have digestion issues. I just love it for the taste. It tastes like licorice.
Huh. I think I showed you the combination of stuff that I'm using when we were doing a call there, didn't I, Ed? I'm using a combination of about 20 different herbs that come right of our forest here in northern British Columbia. We're really blessed in this part of the world for medicinal value in our plants.
Sorry about that, folks. Damn train.
Hey, the train's going through your living room, Ed.
Okay, so here's a comment. It's sumac and it's in the northwest. You can boil it for a half hour and it's supposed to give you one.
Huh.
Give you one what, though? Sumac tea.
I've never heard of that, Ed. So that's a new one on me.
Sumac can be poisonous. Sumac is a bush. It's not a tree. Look like a red berry.
Lion's mane is one that I've started using too.
Lion's mane is a type of mushroom, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a mushroom. Turmeric. I've been using a bit of that. I've also got rose hips in the house now. I've been picking rose hips. Rose hips has the highest concentration of vitamin C of any plant known to man. So if they grow in your area anywhere, go pick them.
So I always see rosehip tea when I go moose hunting. It's everywhere in the bush.
Who wants to go moose hunting? It's not moose hunting season yet.
No, I said when I go moose hunting, I see it in the bush all the time.
Devil, you mean rose hips?
Yeah, elderberry is actually a very strong, nutrient dense berry. It's got all kinds of good stuff in it for you.
I'm just learning, Ed. Over the last 3 or 4 years, I'm just learning about all the nutrients and medicinal value of our mushrooms up here. It's quite amazing. University of British Columbia was up here 2 years ago doing a study on it, and information's just starting to get out about some of the stuff that's in some of our mushrooms, like king bolitas, are really, really high in vitamin D. Our cauliflowers are really super high in vitamin D. All kinds of information now. People are finding out just how good mushrooms are for your body. And of course, chaga is number one.
It's one of these off the trucker people just called me. Anyways, what else can you tell us about getting your chaga?
What do you mean? What do you want to know?
I'll just call you. Do you have any pricing on it yet, or?
I sell my dry stuff. I sell dried pounds for $30 a pound for my dry. It takes 4 pounds wet to make 1 pound dry in chaga. But the guy that I buy from in the Yukon dries it all out properly, breaks it down into small chunks so it doesn't get mold, dries it properly, and that's how I've been buying it off him. And
So I bought this. I bought this in the health food store, guys. It was $35, and it's half a pound.
Yeah, no, they're ripping you off. Well, not ripping you off. They're making money, obviously.
Yeah.
But I sell my pounds for $30, so I'm pretty reasonable in my pricing.
Well, it's less than half price from the store.
Yeah, well,
but the shipping though, right?
And then you're shipping on top.
Yeah.
But I get it for a decent price from this guy, so I don't.
Angela's ready whenever you are, Ed.
Yeah,
I don't
see
want
your
dollars on it. Chaga's not about making money yet. Chaga's about, what the best thing about Chaga is that after you sell Chaga to somebody, a couple months later they come up and they want to give you a big hug because they've noticed so many things in their body that are changing, and that, my friend, is worth more than any money. Any money, just helping people. It seems like our whole society now is getting sicker and sicker and sicker. The numbers are going right through the roof. And when people start using Chaga, they notice big changes, usually within a month, but definitely after 2 months, they really start to notice some changes. They notice things that were issues are going away. I know that it curtails the growth of cancer in your body. I can't say that it heals cancer, but I've given Chaga to how many people here now? I can't even count the people that I've given it to in my community, and they've told me that it has put their cancer into remission. We know that cancer now is going to be a really, really big issue going forward, given what we know about immune system deficiencies that are happening due to these jabs. I mean, cancer is just, the numbers are skyrocketing. I went to the Department of Health website in the United States there a couple of days ago, Ed, and I was looking at the numbers, and oh shit, in some cancers, 1,000% increase just in the last year and a bit since they started jabbing people. So tell me it's a coincidence. Across the board, we've seen about a 400 across the board average. We've seen about a 400% increase in cancer since they started jibby jabbing people. So tell me it's a coincidence, my friend. So more than ever, we need to get this kind of stuff in our body. Anything that can boost your immune system. Every one of us has a cancer cell that go through our body at least once a day. We have a cancer cell go through our body, but our immune system deal with it. But if your immune systems are getting weaker and weaker, more and more cancer is going to show up, and that's exactly what we're seeing right now.
Well, I was going to bring Angela in, but I don't know what happened to her. Derek?
Yeah, where's your other guest? I'd like to meet her, man. She sounds like a pretty cool girl.
Uh-oh.
What else does Chaga do for your body, man? Well, like I said, guys, just go on YouTube and just punch in Chaga mushroom superfood, and a whole pile of videos come up. Some of them are only 10 or 15 minutes in length. Listen to a couple of them, and they'll really break down. I could sit here and I'm not an expert. I've been involved with it for years, but there's other people out there that are way more knowledgeable on Chaga than I am. I know enough about it that I wouldn't go through life without it now. But there's a couple videos there that are just absolutely amazing. Just go listen to them. They'll do a better job of explaining it to you than I can. I'm just telling you that I've been using it now for about 7 years of my life, and I don't get sick at all. I think I've been sick once here where I had a major knockdown about 4 years ago for about a month, but outside of that, I never get sick. And that knockdown came when a period of time that I ran out of chaga head. So tell me it's a coincidence. That's what I know about chaga, guys. I wouldn't start my day without it. And most people live it. If you live anywhere in northern territories, anywhere in northern Ontario or northern BC or northern Canada, um, the chaga is available in your neighborhood. Man, you just go and get your own. It's not hard to identify.
Well, look at that. Rheumatoid arthritis. Well, good thing Medical News Today is publishing this and not us.
There's a gentleman on the island. I can't even think of his name right now, but he said one of the biggest properties of chaga is that it restores cell-to-cell
Is
communication
it the
in the human
bushcraft
body.
guy?
Huh?
The bushcraft guy on
I can go find his name if I go off the internet here. If I get off with you guys, I'll go find his name. But a gentleman lives on Lasqueti Island, but he is considered to be, what's his name? I can't even think of his name right now. When you get older, this happens. I should know his name because I've actually talked to him twice. Damn, can't think of his name, guys. Sorry. If people get in touch with you later, I'll find a link for this gentleman. But he says one of the number one properties of chag is that it restores cell to cell communication in our bodies. There's actually seven. There's I think in our world there's 200. What was the study I did? 225 different saccharides or sugars in our world today, but only seven of those sugars support cell to cell communication in your body. So those seven sugars are essential to put in your body. So if you get a list of the sugars that support cell to cell communication, the nutraceuticals that do that, then you definitely want to take that. The rest of these sugars that we're putting in our body aren't good for us at all. But chaga contains one of those sugars, and it is excellent for supporting cell to cell communication. It also attacks and destroys free radicals. It attacks and destroys fungus. I got a buddy here in town. He runs West Point Reynolds. His name is Doug Ritchie. Really, really good friend of mine. We played hockey against each other years ago. Really intense hockey player. Really, really, really good guy. But Doug had a couple growths on his head that were there for years. The doctor took samples. They weren't cancerous, but they were just there. And he got on chaga. And 3 months after he started taking chaga, those growths disappeared. And he's like my poster boy now. He's telling everybody, put this stuff in your body. This is what it did to me. There's no denying it wasn't a coincidence. As soon as he started taking chaga, his growth disappeared.
Yeah, I did the same thing. I don't know if it was last winter or the winter before, but I had something, and it must have been when COVID-19 was just starting up or something. It says, you know what, I'm not going to bother dealing with the doctors. Drank the chug, 3-4 cups of chug at tea every day, and after a few months, I forgot about them. Went to check and think, they're gone.
Imagine that, eh, Ed?
So Angela's internet is out right now. Interesting. So she was in the green room getting ready to come on, and boom, gone. So, you got any good healthy recipes for us, Barry?
No, that's not my department, guys.
You don't cook nothing. What do you cook what do you eat when you're in the bush? Mushroom picking.
I eat very, very simple when I'm in the bush. Very simple protein, dried vegetables, and lots of water.
That's it.
Well, some nuts. I mean, I have other stuff too, but I don't go overboard when I'm in the bush. That's for sure. I eat very
Here's
simple.
a new one for me. Smoke from burning chaga is also a mosquito repellent.
Who, chaga?
Yeah.
No, I've never heard that one before. I don't think that works because I drink Chag all the time, and the mosquitoes love me. They chase me in the bush. Mosquitoes were so bad there about 3 years ago. We were on a fire up north, up by Watson Lake in the Yukon, Ed. The mosquitoes were so bad that we used to run when we were out picking. We'd stop, we'd run for about 15 seconds as fast as we could, just to get about a 10-second break before the mosquitoes got up with you. That's how bad they were. Swarms of mosquitoes all day long. So if you don't like mosquitoes and you can't handle that, morels are definitely not for you. But if you like wads of $100 bills in your pocket every day when you're finished your day, morels is for you. Because I've had 800 or 900 put into my pocket in one day of working in the bush. One day. It's addictive. Even you, an old guy like you, can make money doing it, Ed.
I don't know. I might get into shape, but then what?
You'd be dangerous, man. The women wouldn't know what to do with you, would they? They're already crazy over it. Boy, if you ever got your old body back. Anyways, shouldn't talk like that.
Then I'd be scaring all the cops. Can't have that happen.
This is a family show. Careful what you say, Bear. How many people you know have been affected by the jab, Ed? And I'm not going to change the subject. We're talking about health stuff tonight.
No, let's talk about.
I know 4 people now, myself, that have died. One of them, the commonality amongst them all is within 2 or 3 or 4 weeks of the booster shot. I know 4 people myself, friends of mine, that have died
After they got the booster.
After they got the booster.
So the first 2 jabs didn't kill them.
I've got a friend here in town, Ed, that he went and got, the only reason he went and got the booster because his family talked him into going and doing it because his daughter is into high levels of figure skating competitions. He wanted to go watch his daughter in the arena. They wouldn't let him in unless he got his booster. He'd already taken the first 2 shots. He didn't feel good about that. But then he went and got the booster. 24 hours after the booster, he had a heart attack. Flew him down to Vancouver. They did a whole bunch of tests on him, brought him back up to Terrace, told him it wasn't a heart attack. What he did have was a severe case of myocarditis, which gives him about 2 to 5 years to live right now, max. He's going to be lucky if he gets 5 years. He's on 7 new drugs right now to keep him alive. Isn't that great? Don't you love these guys?
What are the symptoms of myocarditis for this guy?
Myocarditis is a rupturing of the muscles around the heart. And once they're ruptured, they never heal. Heart muscles will never, ever, ever heal. It's not like other muscles in your body that will heal. Your heart muscles, the ones that surround your heart, if they're ruptured, and that's what myocarditis is rupturing of the heart muscles around your heart. They, according to what the doctors are saying, that it will never heal. It's a condition that's with you for the rest of your life. So you take 18-year-old young healthy men and you give them a heart of a 55 or a 60-year-old man simply because they took the boosters or they took a couple shots.
So I'm sure you know other people that have taken the booster and they're fine though, no?
I'm looking at the numbers around the world, Ed, and sure, maybe some people aren't being affected. I also believe that there's different case lots of this going out. Some of it contains a lot of the good stuff. Some of it contains very little of the good stuff. Some of it contains a lot of saline. Some of it contains massive doses of the mRNA. So I know there's code 1, code 2, code 3. Whether they're actually targeting people in society, that's a point that could be debated. Is they have different codes and they know that certain doses of this contain more of the stuff that's actually going to harm people. And they had people in society that were going to come in to get injected, and they run your name through a database, and you come up as a not so desirable person for the government. Maybe they're instructed to give you the code 3s. But if you're a good little citizen and you're doing everything the government tells you to do, put your mask on, stay 6 feet away, stay home, do all the crap they're telling you to do, maybe they're only going to give you a code 1, which contains a vast amount of saline as opposed to mRNA technology. So there's all kinds of conversations could be had about that, Ed. We're dealing with very evil, very, very evil people. These people are not nice.
Right on. So I just seen Angela there. I guess she got her internet back up and running. So I expect her to be joining us in a few minutes. So she's waving. So let's bring her in. Hey, Angela.
Wow. Boy, I wish I was 25 again. Man.
It's
Come
what you
on,
get when you're a good chef.
Can't do that to us old guys, man. Come on.
Okay, get off the show, Barry.
Oh, he dropped. No, I'm kidding. He didn't drop out.
Careful now, Barry.
Yeah, it's dropout night. Sorry about that. I was like so ready to go, and then everything just went blank.
No problem. It happens. So Barry is our source for chaga tea from northern Yukon.
I was listening. I love mushrooms. Ooh, look at that. Fancy. You know, mushrooms are really interesting because they are said to come from outer space. And there's a good reason to think that. I went to this psilocybin thing at U of T, and it was like this big workshop, and you learned a lot of different things from like the spiritual aspect to the nutritional aspect. And I'll just give you some off the top of my head that I can remember. So they are the only food that is completely zero. It's not alkaline and it's not acidic. It's also the bridge between life and death. Like it breaks something down and creates new life through spores, and spores in itself are very like out of this world. What else? Well, the psilocybin effect too. And there's a whole like spirituality thing around mushrooms. Like if you go back into like ancient Egyptian drawings and like Buddha and even Jesus Christ, you'll see these halos around their head, and then there's freaking mushrooms everywhere. What else? Their DNA is a lot more similar to human DNA than plants. And they do have a very meaty texture too. And there's a lot of other stuff too. And, you know, the whole like psilocybin stuff. And then it's like a powerful superfood. And it could be one of the solutions to solving like toxic waste. Like they actually can like eat plastics and eat toxic waste and stuff like that. Who's the cat?
That's Derek.
Hey, Derek. He's always
Derek being a clown.
So yeah, mushrooms are really fascinating. I think, at least. And they're tasty. Like they're like one of my best ingredients that I use to mimic steak. I use like a big portobello and I season it. And people who eat meat actually say it tastes like steak. So
what part of the world are you in?
I'm in Canada.
Okay, whereabouts?
I've been in Argentina for a long time. And I'm an artist, and that was my artistic name. I used to go there every winter. And then it just kind of stuck. I've considered changing it. But everybody likes Argentina, and it's just easy to remember. And I do speak Spanish, and I have family there, so it works.
Cool.
But I wish I was somewhere else, kind of, instead of China.
Well, we're here, and we can't turn our back on it, can we?
No, I know we're prisoners in our own country.
Well, we're in the fight also.
Yes, that's true.
We can't lose.
We don't want to leave.
So you were going to talk to us tonight about what? Detoxing or eating healthy, or what is it?
Guys, some recipes. That's what I thought we were going to do. So I've got a whole bunch of stuff here. It's funny because I heard him mention turmeric, and that is one of the ingredients. So I'll start with some chia seed pudding recipes, and then we're going to make some raw vegan detox brownies. And you guys can actually help me make them because I have a whole bunch of jars and a whole bunch of chia seeds. So we can kind of get creative on flavors together. Hey, Jennifer, how's it going? So I'll tell you a little bit about chia seeds. I have some stuff here. I have white chia seeds and dark chia seeds. So like nutritionally, they're pretty much the same. Just the white ones take on more color. They look kind of like a little poppy seed. Let me see if I can find it for you guys. There we go. Let's see how this works. See, that's what a chia seed looks like. And so they actually come from like Central and South America, and they're used, chian actually translated to oily. And that's because these have a complete protein profile. They're really high in omega-3 fats. So like they make DHA and EPA. They're really good for your brain. They're really good for your digestive system. They help like clean out the gut because they're kind of like sticky and they pull stuff out. So that's part of the detoxification. It does help clean your gut flora. It helps with digestive issues. because they're these little seeds and you soak them, they can absorb up to 10 times their volume. And so therefore you feel fuller. They're really full of fiber. So they're really good for weight loss and weight management too. It's a really good thing to eat in your breakfast. They also do get sticky. So they're really good for using as like a binding ingredient. I ground them up sometimes and I use them as like a replacement for egg in a lot of my like baking recipes and stuff. It's good for your brain also because I think of the omega-3s. It helps stabilize your blood sugar levels. It's good for your heart. It's good for your skin. And if you've had these, oh good, she's gonna eat some of my chia seed recipes. I have so much food right now in my fridge that I'm gonna make all these chia seed recipes and these brownies. So somebody better help me eat some of this because it's like I can't get fat over here by myself. And then another thing is they're also good for inflammation. And a whole bunch of other benefits, but they're really easy to make. So I'm going to give you guys a few recipes today. Let me just get some nut milk out of here. Let's see. Okay. So we can use any kind of milk. I'm actually going to do one recipe with an orange juice just to give you guys a little bit of flavor. But yeah, this is an unsweetened vanilla, and then this is an oat milk. And what else do I have? I've got an orange juice somewhere. Don't judge me on the brand because I didn't buy this. I'm doing a menu optimization for like a fast food place right now. And I just stole this. Well, I didn't steal it. I'm recipe testing, but it's an orange juice. I wouldn't buy this orange juice because it's probably, it says 100% juice, but it's probably crap because orange juice from concentrate. Okay, maybe this is like natural. Okay, it's better than I thought. I was a little scared and embarrassed, but I'm going to use that in the carrot cake recipe. So for the chia seeds, all you really need in the recipe that I'm going to do, and I'm going to mix them all individually, and then we can just show you how easy it is. They take about 20 minutes to expand. They're usually best if they've sat and expanded for like an hour. They're even better if they sit overnight, but I just have been really busy and I didn't have time to prepare that much in advance. So we'll make these and then we're going to make the detox brownies, which are also amazing. And I'm going to experiment today and put a little CBD in it. I have this, can you see it?
Yeah, just hold it still there.
Yeah, no, it's because I have a light there because it was so dark in here. So there we go. So Alpha Lab Botanicals. This is my new CBD brand. And I also have a THC one, which I'm not doing THC today. I'm just doing CBD, which is also a super medicinal ingredient or topical, or, you know, you can take it a whole bunch of different ways. It's the main ingredient in like marijuana and stuff, but it doesn't have THC. So this one has no like psychoactive ingredients, but CBD is probably one of the healthiest things, I think, for you. We actually have a cannabinoid system in our bodies, which is weird because we don't have a system designed to process anything like any other plants except for CBD. So I'm going to put this in. Ideally, I'm going to be experimenting with edibles in the future, and I'm going to be using the other brand, but I just want to kind of do this as a taste thing. Some benefits. This is actually really good for anybody. It reduces stress. It can reduce inflammation. It can reduce high blood sugar levels. It can reduce like arthritis pain, depression. It improves sleep. I've been really busy and I've been CBDing myself to sleep for the past 5 weeks. It can help with psoriasis, acne, like reducing cravings for like, you know, drug addictions like heroin and stuff like that. And pain and yeah, a whole bunch of other stuff probably, I'm sure, but that's what I can think of off the top of my head. And I like this brand because it doesn't taste very weedy. You know what I mean? I don't like stuff that tastes bad because I'm a chef. Okay, so moving on. And on all of these little ingredients, you guys can't actually see them here, but I'll bring them up just to show you. I thought Stefanos was going to be, who's that? Derek's so funny. I thought Stefanos was going to be, I thought he was going to be on.
Watching you.
Hi. Okay, I thought Stefanos was going to be on, so I bought this granola mix just because it said Stefanos and it was vegan. So granola is going to be one of the toppings that I'm going to experiment with today. I have other toppings. This is also a granola that I made. It's not really granola. It's just like chopped up dates and walnuts, which is kind of the base of the brownies minus the cacao. But this is drier, so it's like a drier mix. So it could be a homemade gluten-free granola. You can add like coconut or whatever you want to it. Add a little maple syrup, not that it needs it. Dates, because I'm going to do like a chia seed turmeric one. Nut butter. This is peanut butter. This is some like dry, you can use dried fruits. I have a whole bunch of different stuff to try with you. This is mango. I'm going to do a carrot cake version. I thought that'd be nice. I have some pecans, some coconuts. So these are just examples. You guys can do whatever, but I'm going to throw a whole bunch of different inspiration at you. Sorry, it's so bright because of this light. These are little almond flakes or slices. Here is some fresh fruit. I'm going to do a blueberry one for you guys today and bananas. What is he now? Oh, there he is. Hi, Derek. And do you have a Trump one? You should do Trump. That'd be funny. And here's some carrot for the carrot cake. Pumpkin seeds, also very good for your brain. And for anybody who wants to make like a morning chia, you can use cacao powder. Here is some coffee. Or you could put those in the brownies as well. And then I have some seasonings as well. This is ginger, cardamom, and cinnamon. So ginger, and turmeric as well. So turmeric, ginger, and cardamom are all part of the same family. They're anti-inflammatory, which helps reduce like bloating and inflammation. And basically, I think inflammation is the source of all kind of injuries or disease. So it's really good. You can get yourself some turmeric. The active ingredient is curcumin, and it prevents Alzheimer's and all sorts of stuff. But the good thing is these things are your flavors. So it's so delicious and so healthy, and it's really easy to make. So we'll just get making it right now, unless you boys have any questions.
Nope. Just keep going.
Okay. All
Let's
right,
get
I
cooking.
will. Let's get not cooking, because actually everything today is raw, I think. Yeah, everything's raw, because maybe the granola is toasted, but I think it's raw. Okay, so we're going to just use, I'm going to do the white chia seed first. This is 1 tablespoon. I'm going to do 2 tablespoons. And in this one, I am going to make a orange and turmeric base. So I'm going to add 1/2 cup of orange juice, and this is pure orange juice. It's way better than I was actually thinking it was. So you can see the difference, and then this is going to start expanding. There we go. That is the best one ever. It suits you perfect. So for this one, I'm going to make this one like the carrot cake one, and the orange juice is probably going to sweeten it a little bit, but I'm going to add a little extra sweetener. And I don't like refined sugar. That's also one of the things. It's like crack for the brain. It creates a lot of inflammation. So I'm always going to promote healthier substitutes. Maple syrup is one of my favorites. We all know and love it, or we should. But you can also use monk fruit. This is the one I use, Krista. I mean, I use a bunch, whatever, but this is what I'm using. Monk fruit's really cool because it is a lot like sugar. It tastes exactly like sugar. The mass, it weighs, and the density is the same as sugar, but it's a 0-calorie sweetener that's completely natural. It grows from a monk tree, and it doesn't spike your blood sugar levels. So it's 0 on the glycemic index. Like, this thing is like the miracle sweetener. So I love it. It's a little more expensive, but you can't put a price on your health. And then another one I use a lot is called stevia. Woo. Stevia also comes from a stevia leaf. It is native to South America, I think like Peru mainly. It's completely natural too. It's calorie free. It doesn't spike your blood sugar levels. Obviously, it's a little more expensive, but it's a lot like cheaper. Not that this is overly expensive, but it's cheaper than monk fruit, a little more expensive than sugar. The only thing is it does have a bit of an aftertaste. So sometimes if I'm using stevia, I will mix a little maple syrup into it just to balance it out. Plus, it's very light. So I'm going to show you guys. I'll show you guys like the density. So it's like a powder. There we go. Look at the powder. Yeah, it doesn't have like it's light in weight, so it doesn't have the density. So if you're baking and stuff like that, this isn't necessarily the best replacement. If I'm doing something and I want it to be sweeter, I might mix in like applesauce and then some stevia so that it has like some thickness, and then the applesauce actually acts as a binding ingredient. And then there's also coconut sugar, which is another one I like, but it's brown. So I don't usually use that if I'm trying to make stuff beautiful because it changes the color. Okay, so in order to make this look more like carrots, this is just sitting here. You can see I'm gonna give it a little stir. Ooh, and I wanna get it off the edges. So this is gonna soon absorb and probably fill this glass, and we're gonna make it pretty. And I also I have all these little jars. So I do meal deliveries, and these are the jars that I actually serve my chia seed pudding in. So if you want some, let me know. I do my meal deliveries. Well, I don't deliver it, but this other guy delivers it. But this is one of the things that's on the menu every week. So turmeric, I'm just gonna put half a teaspoon in there because this is just a small little amount. I'm actually probably gonna do a quarter because I find the taste is overpowering. There we go. So this is, all right. So I'm gonna ask you guys, would you think this one would be better as a mango one or a carrot cake? Because I can make it either. What do we wanna go for first?
I'm a big fan of mangoes.
You wanna do mango? Okay, let's do a mango chai. All right, let's do that. Okay, so this is cardamom, which is also a relative to ginger and the turmeric. It is also an aphrodisiac, and it helps with digestion. So there's a lot of benefits to this. So if digestion is a problem or libido is a problem, just get your cardamom on. So I'm just gonna put a little bit in there. I'm just gonna do a pinch because this is obviously a really tiny little amount. So you don't need very much. It's a very strong flavor. I don't know how to describe the flavor. It's really light. It's beautiful. I love it. It's like really aromatic. Here's a little cinnamon. And then we will put, where did my ginger go? I know where my ginger went. But anyways, I'll just find that when I do. Oh, here it is. Okay. So I'm going to put a little ginger in. And I'm going to mix a little bit of carrot in right now just so that we have some in there, but I'm mainly going to use it as a topping. So carrot. Here we go. And that's it. Another thing that you can do if you want to be all sorts of fancy is you can make the chia seed ahead and then you can layer it. So I don't really have time to do that, but I'll just explain it. So I would make like a big batch and then I'd put like half in and then I'd do a layer of like chocolate or jam, or I could put like the mango in there, whatever it is. And then you top it again and then you top it. So it's kind of like a little like chia seed parfait. Okay, so that's one minus the sweetener. I'm going to use the monk fruit in this one. Actually, I'll just do the maple syrup because that's going to be liquid and it's easy. So normally I would probably add like a tablespoon of maple syrup. This is a very small portion, so I'm going to do a little less. And that is our first one. So once it actually is done, you can see how it's thickening. There we go. See, it's starting to thicken and fill and expand. So once this one is done, I'm going to top it up, but we're going to move on because we've got a lot of stuff to go through today. So voila, this one is in the works. The next one, let's do okay, I'm going to give you guys some options. Work with me. Do you guys want to do a chocolate base, or do you want to do like a peanut butter and banana and blueberry with vanilla?
Oh, man, I'm good with both of them.
All right. Well, we're going to do both. Oh, another thing that I didn't do in this one, and I'm going to actually do it now, is it's not mandatory. I don't like that word mandatory. But anyways, it's not essential. But I like to put just a little pinch of sea salt in there. It just helps kind of balance out the flavors. Give it a little stir. And
Sorry, a pinch of what? Sea salt?
Salt, yeah. So people like that don't know how to cook, no offense if this is anybody that's watching, but people who don't know how to cook, they like think that salt is like a flavoring agent, but what it's supposed to do is harmonize all of the flavors. So when you have all of these things that are very flavorful and nutritious, you just want to add a little pinch of that salt to create that balance, like harmony between them. So even though this is sweet, I'm just adding it. It's not like it's going to overpower because I'm using such a minimal amount, but it just will kind of balance out all the different flavors. You can see there's some mangoes in there. I'm going to actually add a bit more just so it looks pretty. And some more carrots because it's good measure. There we go. Okay, so that's one down. And then the fun part is when you get to dress it up. All right, so moving on to numero dos. We are going to do a dark chia seed right now. And these ones are the most common. I think the white ones might be a little bit more expensive. I can't really remember, but I just like them because I use it sometimes as an egg. You can use it as a flour as well. And they have really good, it's very like nutritious and full of omega-3s, the oil from these, but it's expensive. So it's totally up to you if you want to use that. There's lots of oils out there, but it's great for vegans for making a vegan egg. Oh, what am I doing? This is the half. Okay, so I'm going to do a half cup of the vanilla milk, and I'm going to put a little touch of pure vanilla. I don't know if you can see that. There we go. Sorry, it's so bright because I have no light in here. Okay, so I'm going to put half a teaspoon. Sometimes I do more. We will put some cacao in this one. Okay, so this is the cacao that I use. It is, this one's organic. Cacao is, I think I've mentioned this before, it's my favorite thing ever. It kind of goes with everything. It can go sweet, it can go savory, it can go spicy, but it's also the most nutritionally dense food in the world. Like if you compare like blueberries and we're like, oh, there's so many antioxidants in blueberries. The nutritional profile, when you compare it with cacao, like blueberries are here and then cacao is like way over here. There's a lot of other really good benefits to it. Even though it's been bastardized, everyone thinks cacao is like this bad ingredient. It's not. It's just all the crap that they put in it to make those chocolate bars. But it actually was, back in the day, the drink of the gods. And I think it was the Aztecs or the Mayans. They used to trade cacao. Like it was like a currency. So it really is like gold. And aside from it being tasty, it's really good for your heart. It's really good for energy. What else? It has a lot of magnesium. It's really high in iron, actually. I think it's one of the most like iron-rich foods out there, which you wouldn't think of. And it actually comes from a fruit, believe it or not. It's got polyphenols. It's got antioxidants that prevent oxidative stress from free radicals. It reduces risks of diabetes. Yeah, and it's tasty, and that's what I like the most about it. So I'm actually going to put a whole tablespoon in here, and we can make this one, actually, let's make this one a mocha. So I'm going to put a little coffee in here too. This is a breakfast chia seed pudding. And I put the vanilla in, and now I'm going to add sweetener. So for this one, just for differentiating it, I'm going to add monk fruit. And since there's coffee in it, I'm going to add a little bit more because I like stuff sweet. I just don't like sugar. So I'm going to give this one a little stir. Make sure all the cacao is mixed in there. And I'm going to get a different spoon because this one's huge. All right. So here we go. It's going to mix it in. I don't like when everything sits at the top, and I don't like when it sticks to the side of the glass because it doesn't look pretty. So I'm going to mix it in really well. But you can see now the seeds are already kind of starting to expand. It doesn't take very long. And if you can see how fast that does it in a glass, once it's fully absorbed, you can just imagine what it does inside your body. So it keeps expanding, and as your body digests it, it draws stuff out. So that's why it's really good for your microbiome or your gut. And then it has all those other nutritional benefits, such as like it's antioxidizing, and it's full of all these nutritional elements and components and vitamins and minerals, and it's tasty. So here we go. So this one's pretty much mixed up. I might actually do like 2 and see how I mix this one with, what did I use? Almond milk. You could make like a chocolate orange flavor. So instead of using milk, you could use the orange juice, just to give you a little idea. If I did do that, I'd probably mix in some cinnamon. And actually, I will add some cinnamon in this because I think it's going to go really nicely. There we go. Okay. Chocolate chia is my favorite out of all of them. So I'm going to do this one. This is the mocha. I should write on it so I know that is the mocha. All right. But wait, there's more. Okay, we're going to do another one now. You can also do, this is my friend Carolina. She has, you know Carolina, Ed. Did you've tried this, right? So this is also mocha. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make kind of an icing for that to top it because I don't want to have 2 mocha ones. I totally forgot. But this is a protein powder. And so that's another thing. I don't know if I mentioned, it is a complete protein, but chia seeds are pretty high in protein considering their seed. Like 2 tablespoons contains, I think, 5 or 6 grams of protein, which is pretty substantial. So that little thing is, you know, pretty decent breakfast. But anyways, this is protein powder. So if you're one of those people that need protein, this is the good one. So it has 20 vitamins and minerals. It's a source of protein. This one's completely vegan and it's all clean and stuff. But yeah, there's like flaxseed, magnesium, cranberry, zinc, manganese, vitamin B6, whatever. So if you want that extra nutritional boost, you can use a good quality protein powder. And I might make an icing with that just to like inspire you guys and get you thinking about things differently. We will make another one now. So I'm going to make, okay, for the peanut butter and blueberry one, should we go vanilla or do we want to do a chocolate base? Trump?
You call it, Derek. What do you prefer?
Chocolate and peanut butter or vanilla? I don't like bananas, so this one's going to be ruined for me. But I'm making it for you guys. I'm going to go with chocolate. Because worst case scenario, I can always pick the bananas off. All right, so here we go again. 1 teaspoon, 2 teaspoons, a little pinch of salt. I'm going to go half a cup. Also, if you want to do different measurements, like say you want to make a big batch, normally I don't follow recipes, but what I do is I kind of measure stuff with my eyes. And so the ratio is like 1 to 3.5 or 4. I used to do like less because I liked it a little thicker. But generally, like most people like it a lot more liquidy, and then it expands more. So it actually seems like you have more, even though it's just the same amount of stuff. But yeah, that's generally the ratio. So if you want to make it for yourself and you want to do like a bigger portion, you want to use a cup of chia seeds because you want to like make batches. These can actually stay. I wouldn't really recommend them more than 3, max 4 days. They could potentially stay longer if they're sealed and in the fridge, which they should be in the fridge. But just for best freshness and stuff like that, 3 days is usually like the max. But yeah, you can make a bunch of these in meal prep. It's good to bring with you if you go to the gym and have a little snack, or it's good for breakfast on the go. And they're also really good for desserts. So I'm going to add a little vanilla to this one. And you don't have to add vanilla. I just love vanilla, so I'm going to add it. Let's see, what are we going to do now? So we did that one. We'll leave this one actually we'll leave this one plain. I'm just gonna stir it, give you guys the little stir demo. Clean it off the edges. Okay. And just so you guys can see, within this little bit of time, see how much that like expanded and how thick it is? It's still expanding, but that's how it is. Okay.
Darren, what we're making is chia-based puddings or desserts.
Desserts or breakfast or healthy snacks. And they're really easy and they're nutritious and delicious. So one more, just because I want to show you how easy it is. And then we're going to move on to detox brownies. Oh, another ingredient which I'm going to introduce you to in the detox brownies, which are going to have CBD in the icing. This is a complete experiment for me. I've never actually done CBD stuff. But charcoal. So this is activated charcoal. And activated charcoal is it's a byproduct of when you burn carbon. And so it is a good detoxifier because this is Organica brand, if anybody's curious. It's a detoxifier because it uses adsorption. So it's not absorption with a B, it's with a D. And so what that does is it doesn't absorb, but it binds to toxins in your body. So it can remove stuff like heavy metals, and like if you eat processed food and there's like some synthetic stuff in there and it gets trapped inside your body because your body's like, what the hell is this? It doesn't recognize it. And so that's why a lot of people do have inflammation or digestive issues, is because they're eating a lot of unnatural stuff and their body doesn't know how to eliminate it. And I think I've said this before, that elimination, getting all the bad stuff out of your body, is actually more important than what you consume, because you know, we accumulate stuff, especially like heavy metals or, you know, even microplastics and stuff in our bodies. And so if we don't detox and remove it, it just stays in there and it accumulates. And so we get cumulative damage. And this is why people, as they get older, they start to develop different issues because it's cumulative damage. Like imagine having heavy metals in your body for, you know, 16 years and you don't know what that could be doing to you on like an internal subconscious level. So detoxing, I highly recommend to everybody and anybody. There's different ways to do it. You can just do it simply by eating foods like this, or you can go into like fasting, or you can actually do like, you know, a whole bunch of different crazy things. But if you're new to detoxing, let's just start out by eating healthier. So that's what I'm here to inspire you with today. All right, so chia seed pudding number 4. I'm gonna do another chocolate one because I love chocolate. And maybe, you know what, I'm gonna put a little activated charcoal in this one because it's gonna be dark as well. Let's see. Sometimes you have to like give it a little stir as it's settling, because like if you don't, it clumps a little bit. Should I move my camera? Like, is my head being chopped off? It looks like it's chopped off. Hold on. I think the food is more important though. There we go. I'll just crouch. Okay, next time I'll position the camera a little bit better. I was in a rush because I was in a class right before this. Okay, so I'm gonna do another one. I've got all these ingredients here and I'm like, what should I put in it? I'm actually gonna put some coconut in this one. Why not? I'm going to make it into a coconut chocolate charcoal chia seed pudding. That's a mouthful. Okay, so the charcoal I'm going to add, it doesn't actually taste like anything. The first time I ever got introduced to charcoal, I had a spider bite on my eye and I was literally deformed for 10 days. Like my whole one side of the face was like flat. Like I looked like a goonie. Okay. I couldn't even leave the house. It was so bad. And I went to the hospital and they like tried to write me a prescription and nothing worked. And so I looked up online and I saw to try activated charcoal, because it was actually at the hospital that they said it might be a bug bite. So then I was like looking up for alternative natural things to do to help me with this bug bite, because I couldn't even I had no eyeball. Like it was literally just like swollen. And it was 10 days and it was like, I was horrible. Like I couldn't leave the house. So I bought activated charcoal and I slept with a patch on my eye. And lo and behold, it actually took the bug bite out. So I just kept doing that. And it was the only thing that worked. So like I said, it's adsorption. So it binds to it and draws it out. So aside from doing that to your inside, you can use it topically. If you have some sort of like poison or like in my case, like a bug bite. So yeah, it's really that good. I can totally vouch for it from experience. And we're gonna make another chocolate one. So I'm gonna put a whole tablespoon of this delicious, nutritious superfood that's so good. And one more thing too. So there's a big difference. Well, not like a huge difference, but there's a difference between cacao and cocoa. Okay, so this is cacao. See how it's spelled? C-A-C-A-O. And I think I've got cocoa in here. Let me just see if I have cocoa. Okay. This is cocoa. Okay, in French, it's actually spelled cacao, so that's very misleading. But cocoa is very different than cacao because this is actually made from cocoa mass, which is kind of like the byproduct of all the stuff that they do to it, and they just bang it up and it looks like cocoa, and it still has like, you know, some nutritional benefits, like it's got iron and magnesium and stuff, but it's been heated and it's been processed, and it's not raw cacao in its most natural, pure, high vibrational form. I don't know if I mentioned the vibrational aspects of cacao, but I've talked about biophoton, which is the living energy of food that you can actually see under a certain microscope. And that's
bing,
what...
Bing, bing, bing.
What was that noise? It scared me. What's your liquid measurement? Okay, so for this, I normally do like between 1 to 4. So 1 part chia to 4 parts liquid. I'm just doing 2 tablespoons of chia to half a cup. And then the chocolate ones are really thick because I add like a whole tablespoon of cacao. But it's so good. And I didn't add sweetness to this one. I think the last one I used sugar or monk fruit. Sorry, sometimes they call things by their fake names. So I'm going to add about a tablespoon of that just because I like it sweet. It doesn't have to be. And I'm going to add vanilla. You can also add other things. If I do have avocado here, but I just didn't feel like blending it up. You could also use matcha, which would be a really good one. Is her freezer hiding a bunch of ice cream? No, it's got a lot of frozen fruit right now because I'm optimizing the menu for cultures. I don't know if you guys know how much is charcoal, but I guess a 1/4 teaspoon. Oh yeah, I just used a small amount. Yeah, it was very like minimal, just because you don't need a lot of it. But yeah, that would be a good measurement between like, I'd say like a pinch, a 1/4 teaspoon. But anyways, make it your own. You know what I mean? I'm just throwing inspiration. This is how I make food all the time. And to that thing with the ice cream, I have a bunch of frozen bananas in there. I make the most delicious nice cream. Okay. So what I do is I take frozen bananas, probably like a whole banana, I guess would be a good measurement. Frozen, overripe too, because it's sweeter and it's more anti-cancer. So all those black spots that we think is like bad on the banana is actually when it's changing its chemical composition and it's becoming, in my opinion, healthier. It's not healthier if you have diabetes, for example, and it's more sugary because it's going to spike your blood sugar levels versus the like unripe version. And I just do it because it tastes way better. So I do that and I mix like a tablespoon of cacao and frozen blueberries. And I add like a tablespoon of stevia. You don't need it, but I love sweet stuff. And it tastes like ice cream, but it's so healthy. And it's dairy-free.
You're very special.
Thanks. You're special too. So yeah, so here, this one is just a regular chocolate one. The other one is a mocha, which is gonna have a mocha protein powder. In this, you could add stuff into it. I like to do it on top, but like, you know, get creative. Like if I wanted to make like a chocolate almond one, I could sprinkle some almonds into it, mix it up. But this is nice and thick. Beautiful. Does anybody have any other flavor requests, or would we like to move on to the detox brownies now?
Yeah, there's a question. How much charcoal?
I answered. I saw that. So it's about a quarter teaspoon. Yeah, charcoal doesn't really have like a strong flavor, so it's not like super important if you want to do more. Another thing that you could try is putting charcoal in a hot chocolate. So even making, like, I could use this. You could use some sort of nut butter. I add heated nut milk, and I add cacao. So I mix the cacao with a little bit of liquid and some nut butter into the bottom of a pan, and I stir it into like a nice little paste. I add some charcoal. The cacao's already mixed in, and then I add my sweetness, and you have yourself a delicious hot chocolate. You can mix it.
So shiny.
What? Okay. Anyways, thank you, Trump, aka Derek. All right. Yeah, so let's move on to the brownies. I have to use my food processor for this, so excuse me if it's going to be a little loud, but I'm going to tell you how I'm going to make it, and maybe you can mute me and put on some music if you want. There's different nuts you can use. You can use like almonds, for example. You could use coconuts. I'm using walnuts today. So these are already kind of chopped up, but for this, I actually want to get them really fine. And then I have some dates. I actually kind of pre-mixed it just so that I wasn't spending forever making you guys watch me blend up my food. But this is date paste. So ideally, you would use medjool dates. They're a little more expensive. If you don't want to get the medjool dates, the other dates are drier, so just soak them. You can boil boiling water. You can pour boiling water on it and let it sit for like 5 minutes and just drain them. Or you can just let them sit in like regular water. That's what I did with these. I just got a whole bunch because I had like a catering thing a while ago and I just bought way too many. But they don't go bad. So like I said, this is all shelf-stable stuff except for, well, the milk is shelf-stable until you open it and then you have about a week. But everything else is shelf-stable. So these won't go bad. And if you do make a date paste and you keep it in an airtight container, it is actually like it preserves itself because it's so sugary. And I know we're like, oh,
I'm Donald Trump, and I approve this message.
Thank you. So dates are sugary, but they're so high in fiber. They're really, really healthy. And so I make these brownies and I eat them as dessert. I eat them as breakfast. Like I don't feel bad about eating them because they actually are so healthy. And the walnuts are really good for your brain. And then it's got the cacao. And then even the icing is completely natural. It's coconut oil, maple syrup, cacao, and then I add some vanilla in. And then I just throw in some extra walnuts, or like we can use, I didn't even tell you this. Here's some hemp seeds. These are also like another superfood seed that's kind of like a chia seed, but they don't expand. But they're really good in healthy fats and they're complete protein. So here we go. This is the dates, just to show you. All right. I'm gonna clear a little room here for the blender or the food processor. Oh, and a food processor is best for making these brownies, raw vegan brownies, so there's no baking required. They also, because it's made with shelf-stable ingredients, they can sit on the counter for a week, cover it and stuff like that. You don't want to like attract bugs or whatever, or you don't want it to go stale, but they won't go bad. So that's the nice thing about it too. They probably won't last a week though, because they're just like that delicious. No lie. Okay. And if you don't have a food processor, this is still possible to make with a blender. It's just going to be a little more tedious because you're going to have to like pulse it. Okay. And for best results, I would make the walnuts or the nut mix very fine before. Some people mix everything together in the blender, and I actually prefer to kind of break up the nuts first. Otherwise, you get chunkier nuts. And these taste like brownies. Like if you blend it enough and you get the paste with the cacao and everything, It doesn't look like there's nuts in it. It doesn't. You wouldn't know there's no flour in it. Like it really blows people's minds how much like brownies these taste. They're very fudgy, but healthy. Okay, so I'm gonna get a bigger measuring cup.
I will build a great wall on our southern border, and I will have Mexico pay for that wall.
Is that actually you, or is that just some creepy like voiceover thing?
That's Derek messing around with the AI stuff that he's got.
Yeah. By the way, Derek, I really liked my graphic today. Thank you. It was cool. All right, so I'm gonna do, this is a half a cup just because I couldn't find my thing. So I'm going to add in 2.5. Let's see what I have here. Maybe I'll just do them all. Okay. So that's 2. But I hate having just like this little bit left over. Actually, you know what? I'll leave the little bit so I can show you guys how to top it afterwards. All right. No, I'm going to put them all in and I'll take it out because I want it fine. I don't want big chunks on the top. So excuse me for a second. It's going to be loud. Maybe you want to let Derek Trump talk, or you want to watch me make some noise? Let's see. Oh, hold on. I didn't even plug this in. 1 second.
We're not doing well. Let me call the Russians to help.
Okay. So if you've never been in a kitchen, this is what's called pulping.
You are fake news.
Wrong.
Congratulations.
So I'm just going to show you guys the consistency. Okay, I did this pretty fine. It's not like a complete powder right now, but you can see that they're small. I like a little bit of texture just because it helps with the binding and it gives it some substance. So I'm going to put this.
We're going to build the wall.
The wall to where? To China?
It comes from China.
The wall to China. Okay, so here is the walnuts. I'm just going to put that aside. Everything is going to be in here, so I'm not going to bother mixing or cleaning this container out because I want to go fast. So I'm going to do the dates now. Okay.
Little Rocket Man.
Okay, so let's say I'm doing 2.5 of those. So I'm going to use pretty much equal portions. I'm going to do a little bit more nuts in case you guys don't want to do this amount. I'm just doing this amount because this is what I happen to have on hand. Okay, so this is 1/2. I'm going to put that in there. Going for a full cup. There we go.
What's wrong? What's the matter with you?
Okay. This is really delicious too. If you've never had date paste, it's so good. It actually, if blended enough and you add a little bit of liquid, it can become like a caramel. Just to give you an idea. So this is 1.5. I don't know why when I measured it, it seemed like there was more in the measuring cup than when I'm doing this, but.
Call me. Oh, fuck off.
No, you. Okay, So this is just under 2 cups because that's what I had. I always tell people, like, it's better to, you know, be creative. Like, if you don't have all the ingredients, you can try with something else you have on hand. I've made these with oats before. Like I said, you can use nuts. Like, you could use sunflower seeds, coconut, pumpkin seeds. You're obviously going to get a different end result, but I mean, that's part of the fun, right? Because then you can make it your own. And all of those things have their own different nutritional benefits. So if you look it up, like pumpkin seeds, like I said, are really good for your brain. So are the walnuts too. But yeah, you can kind of have fun with whatever it is you want to do. So that was about almost 2 cups of date paste. So I'm going to use 2 heaping cups of nuts. So there's 1. It's because the nuts aren't as dense and sticky. So, I mean, it's not exactly. There's my little heap right there. So who's going to come eat these? Because I'm going to have a whole batch of brownies. So that is 1.5. Okay.
When I walk on by, girls be looking like damn fly.
Come on, you can't put this song on and not dance. Like, you have to dance. That's not fair. All right. So this is our mix right now, and I am going to add in a little pinch of salt. Okay. And I'm going to add in a whole 1/2 cup of cacao because I really want it chocolatey. If I can figure out where I put it. Oh, here it is. Okay. So I'm saving a little bit of these chopped walnuts. It's glowing. Next time I'll get my ring light. I left it across the street at the expo last weekend. Okay, where's the measuring cup? So 1/2 cup of this. So it's a substantial like ratio. Like, it's a lot of chocolate that goes in here. All that delicious goodness. And I'm going to, by the way, guys, like, I can always write these in the comments afterwards. I obviously can't right now because I don't have my hands. I'm going to add in a teaspoon of this. You can add in more if you want. I love vanilla. It's so good. And what did I say I was going to add into this? Oh, the charcoal. That's right. So add in this one because it's a big amount. I'm actually going to add in a whole teaspoon. There we go. It'll just make everything even blacker. Sometimes if you guys ever go to the bulk barn as well, and you can't find cacao somewhere, what they do have at the bulk barn, which I've never found in any other store, is dark alkalized cocoa. I actually have some. It's really good for these too because it's alkalized. Like, cacao is actually, it can be acidic, but when it's alkalized, it's healthier for you. And I actually have it. It's like Dutch dark chocolate. You find some. Okay. Here we go. There. You can tell it's from the bulk barn because it's in like a bag. But I'll just show you like the difference in color. See how dark that is? It's like black. Oh, I'm spilling it. There, you can see it. It looks like charcoal too. So I actually usually use this one with the brownies just because it's like black anyways. And so
they call her Pocahontas.
Pocahontas. Beautiful. And that's everything that we are going to put in there. I'm going to put this on. Actually, I'm going to put this little guy on too. It just helps scrape the edges. And here we go. Get ready for some noise. This is my little blocker so stuff doesn't fly out at me. Oh, what's going on?
You know what uranium is, right? It's a thing called nuclear weapons and other things. Like, lots of things are done with uranium.
What? Okay, hold on. Oh my God. Okay, don't do this.
$15 million to
I
somebody.
forgot to put the blade in, so like nothing's gonna spin. So just give me a second. All right. Do as I say, not as I do. Okay, so this is a lesson for you all. We learn from mistakes. So now I'm gonna have to empty this all out and put the blade back in the bowl. And then you can top it up. You know, I should have noticed that because I was actually like, when I was pouring stuff in, there was like a little bit of a gap because this thing fills it. And so that's why there's cacao on the bottom of my thing. So I lost some chocolate. But anyways, we'll get through this, guys. So this is the cacao, walnut, sea salt, vanilla, and date mix blend, which is the most healthy and delicious brownie. Well, it might not be the healthiest. I mean, not that it's not healthy, but I do make healthy brownies. You can use avocado in brownies. You can make like zucchini brownies. There's all sorts of things you can do with chocolate. But this is definitely, I think, the easiest because it's no bake. It takes a few minutes. And then, there we go. Mesmerizing. There we go. So now you can see it's getting really thick, and that's exactly what we want. We want it to be sticky and well blended. Okay. Beautiful. Ta-da! Okay, so here we have the brownie mix. I'm just going to take this out and show you guys the consistency. See, this is my little trail mix because I didn't have the blender in. Okay, so this is the bottom of the thing, and you can see how thick that is. So this is why it doesn't actually need to be baked. It just needs to be pressed, and then it needs to set. So that's the hard part, is waiting for it to set while I make the icing. But we have all sorts of different stuff. We're going to make the icing together, and we can also dress up our delicious chia seed pudding. So I'm just going to clear a little space here. Okay. All right. Now is the fun part. So I'm just using a pan. This one, it's Teflon. I never recommend Teflon for baking. It's toxic, but I'm not baking in this. I'm just using it as a thing, and I'm lining it with parchment paper. So that's my justification for that. Plus, this was like really cheap. I got it from the dollar store for like $4 or something. So yeah, if you're gonna use anything like for baking, try to use ceramic or like stainless steel or glass is a better option. But I read in this book called Slow Death by Rubber Ducky. It was these Canadians that did testing on cumulative damage. And they went around and like looked at everyday, products and stuff that are in mass consumption and sold widely. And, just like, for example, like a French press. And they looked at Teflon, and they did experiments on them, and they found out the cumulative damage of these things. So if anybody out there eats tuna, if you eat tuna every day, the toxins from the mercury accumulate in your system to like dangerously high levels. So they did all sorts of different tests. I highly recommend that book. It's just going to make you think about, all the products and stuff that are in everyday consumption that we're using. And this is just an example, like if it's sold in the store, we just trust it. But a lot of these things have never really been tested. They've been tested for like the safety limit of what we can tolerate. and it might be under that, but it doesn't take into consideration constant exposure to these toxins. So that's just something for you guys to think about. Since we're on this detox kind of talk thing anyways, right? We need to detox because we accumulate stuff. Okay. So I don't know if my rolling pin will fit inside of this. So I'm going to do something makeshifty with you guys, which me too. I'm going to do something makeshifty with you, and I'm going to use a glass to press it. Well, I'll see if my rolling pin does, but I don't think it will. I think this is too small. Okay, so look at this. This is like how sticky this thing is. It's like a big clump of chocolate. But it smells so good. Okay. And obviously, like, you can make it less thick too. I like it thick. Why wouldn't you want it thick? It's nice and sticky. But if you want it a little less thick, you can always add more dates, and you can add a little less cacao, because the cacao is the part that kind of dries it. Not that this is dry, but it binds it. So yeah, there we go. When you're making stuff like this, the spatula is your best friend, because I don't like to waste stuff. So I like to scrape the sides, get it all off there, and then there's more food that goes in my belly. Okay. Ta-da! There's your brownie. All right. Okay. So this is going to be my makeshift rolling pin for now, but I'm just going to press it down a little bit. I'm actually going to use my hands, which I just washed my hands. Just because it's going to give it a little bit of a spread. Okay. Hold on one second. I'm going to grab a smaller tray. Okay. So I'm gonna switch it up just because this is too big, and I didn't have like 3 cups like I was thinking I had. So I'm gonna do it in here, and I'm gonna press it down. And the only difference is these are gonna be nice and thick, as opposed to like thin brownies. Okay, so I'm just pressing it down first, getting it to the edges, and then I'm going to roll it. Okay, where did I put this little glass? So I'm just going to roll it with this. With a sheet of parchment paper around it. I've never used glass before, so I forgot it would stick. So there we go. Go right into the edges. My rolling pin definitely would not fit in this tiny little container. So this is good. There. Okay. So it doesn't have to be perfectly flat. It's a little like lifted and stuff. I'm gonna come over there and show you guys. Just want to wash my hands because they're like all gummy. Okay. There we go, up close and personal. So you can see, look how sticky they are. I have to hold on to it, but like it's not gonna fall. See? So it's nice and solid. And I rolled it out, but it's a little like, there's a few little things because the parchment paper. So I'm just simply using a spatula, and I'm just pressing it down on the ends. I don't want any weird things there, so I'm just going to smooth that out. The nice thing with the parchment paper is it doesn't stick to anything, so you can pull it off the sides. It doesn't melt if you like use it in the oven like wax paper, make everything all waxy and gross. So just my preferred option for doing anything like this. And it keeps moist, it keeps stuff moist too if you want to seal it like that. Okay, so there is my brownie mix. And this would set like just on its own. Like I could technically ice it now, but I want it to stiffen up a little bit. So I'm just gonna actually put it outside on my balcony because my fridge is overflowing with food right now and I don't have room. So I'm just gonna cover this and let it like air dry because it's still chilly out. Hopefully it's not snowing, like 2-inch snow cubes like it was the other day. But there. So, sorry, I'm a little bit of a perfectionist. I want it perfectly flat, but I'm gonna just stop now while I'm ahead. So those are our brownies. I'm gonna put them outside.
So it's nice you guys in the chat are paying attention. This is a no-bake brownie.
Yeah, it's no bake. It's raw, actually. So it's a high vibrational brownie. It's also gluten-free, a detox brownie. So gluten-free, sugar-free, no bake, raw and high vibrational, and delicious and nutritious. Okay, so we're gonna make the icing now. That's what we're gonna do. The icing is so easy and healthy. Once you know this recipe, it's gonna change your life forever. I sometimes make it in the morning because I know that chocolate is the drink of the gods, and I'm like, well, I'm a goddess. So I make myself chocolate syrup and I drink it in the morning because it's really healthy and good for your brain. So you should try it too. What am I gonna use to mix this in? I don't want to use like a big bowl, but I guess I will.
Smoke weed every day.
Yeah, it was 420 yesterday. And so I'm going to use a big mixing bowl, whatever. Just a little tip, because I've made this lots of times and I've screwed up because I used like cold maple syrup or my coconut oil wasn't warm. You need it liquid. So this, I'm going to measure it just to make sure it is the right amount that I'm going to tell you it is, wherever my thing is. Okay, so this, I'm just wiping it because chocolate and water they're not friends. You don't want to get water on your chocolate. It just like changes the texture of it and it looks weird. So I'm gonna respect the integrity of the chocolate. And I think this is probably about half a cup. Let's just see. Yeah, there we go. So that's half a cup. There's just a little bit more in here, so I'm just gonna toss it in. It's better to have more icing than less. Okay.
So that was coconut oil. Usually at room temperature, it's stiff, isn't it?
Yeah, I heated it a little bit, but my place is very warm. You know, it's very tropical in here almost. Okay, so I'm gonna do, this is just a little over, you're welcome. It's just a little over half a cup. So I'm going to make a very similar measurement of cacao. And I'm going to add, I always say it's like half a teaspoon, but it's more like a teaspoon just because I like to add a little bit more. And half a cup of this cacao. Honestly, if anybody ever tries this, let me know how you like it. Like it's so good and it's so easy. And then when you think of how healthy this is, also using maple syrup as the sweetener, it's like a game changer. Like, why would you eat that crappy processed store-bought shite that they sell when you could have this, which is the drink of the goddess or god? Okay, so that is, you can do this in the blender too as well. I'm not going to do that because I just want to make you guys sit through the noise. So I'm going to do similar amount. It's kind of like you can play with it. Like, you know how you have different like 80% chocolate, 70% chocolate. It's the same thing with this. It will always kind of end up as a syrup. An icing, but it will stiffen as well. So it like depends on how sweet you are. I'm going to use a little less of the maple syrup. So the other ones we're heaping. This is just a little like under 1/2 of a cup. All right. And here's the fun part. Wee. So I'm just going to mix it all up. I wish I could show you guys better. There we go. Look at that delicious chocolate. And what the coconut oil is really good for is because, like you said, it becomes harder when it gets colder. That's why it's good for the icing, because it stiffens, right? So right now it's nice and warm. And when it's like this, I can literally just pour it on the brownies and it's going to be all smooth and delicious. But now we're going to add the magic ingredient. So CBD, I've never really done anything with it. CBD, like I said, there's no psychoactive components to it, but it is a very medicinal ingredient. If anybody just joined now and they don't know, it's good for relieving pain. It's good for chronic nerve syndrome, arthritis, like pain, I guess, and joint relief. But arthritis is also because of the inflammation. So this is an anti-inflammatory. It can improve your sleep. I've been CBDing myself to sleep and sleeping like a baby. This is also, the brand is called Alpha Lab Botanicals, which you guys can't see because the light. Let's see if I can do that. There we go. It's kind of on the angle. Yeah, Alpha Lab Botanicals. So I'm going to add just a little bit of this. I will be experimenting with THC in the future, but I just don't know about dosing. And I'm one of those people, I'm more about like the medicinal properties of it. I don't want to be like one of those people that like makes people super high. But this is what I would use for myself in a night. It's 25 milliliters. I take a little drop of this and I sleep like a champion. And then I wake up. I tried the THC one night. And I don't know if it was the THC or if it was just like whatever, but I had really weird dreams and I never remember my dreams. So that was one thing I noticed between this one. Like this one, I'm just out like a light. And the THC, I had really weird dreams. Like my head was like burnt and like I had boils and stuff, like weird, right? Like I didn't like it. And then I actually got woken up by the police at like 3 a.m. So that was not fun. Nothing to do with me. They just, I think there's a ghost next door at my neighbor's place. So they were investigating weird noises. But yeah, it was like disturbing. Like I was having nightmares and then the police were at my door at 3 o'clock in the morning. So I'm like, okay, I'm taking a break from that. Okay, so this, guys, is the icing. And if there's a little left over, I'm actually going to put some on my chia seed pudding. Why not? I'm going to get the brownies now. I'll be right back. Okay, so like that wasn't a lot of time to stiffen, but as you can see, they're pretty stiff anyways. I'll show you like how easy it is to remove them. There you go. So I wish I could like prop this up so you guys can see. Let's see if I can do that. Is that better?
Yep. Yeah, we can see that.
Okay, I'm gonna get some of this paper out of the way. There we go. All right. So I'm just gonna pour this icing on. I'm gonna pour it at the top because it's on an angle, so it's gonna like roll down. But yeah, that's like literally how I ice it. I'm gonna save a little for the chia seed pudding because it is bomb.com. And you want to just make sure there's no lumps in there. So see that? I'm smoothing it out and then I'm gonna let it come to this side. So now, I can't really show you guys. That is how smooth it is. I don't know, it's kind of, you can see it's like liquid, right? So I'm gonna let that cool outside while we dress up the other things. It's a little liquidy right now, but before it becomes completely hard is when I like to top it with whatever. So that's when I would probably sprinkle some of these walnuts on, maybe a few little hemp seeds and some coconut because it's pretty, or whatever. Like goji berries and stuff. You can make it like really artistic, like, you know, chocolate bark where it's like the chocolate pieces and then, you know, there's like orange in there, or like, you know, dried fruits and stuff like that. This is exactly what you would do. You would just make this thing, put it on a piece of parchment paper, add some ingredients to it, and then just pop it in the fridge or the freezer, and it will harden. And then you guys have yourself some delicious, nutritious, homemade chocolate bark. It's really that easy. So I'm just gonna put this outside. All right, and I'm gonna actually use this. This one is the chocolate mocha one, and I just don't like how it's all dirty on the cup, so I'm gonna give it a little wipe. Okay. So I want you guys to see how beautiful it is. So I'm just gonna give it a little wipe with a paper towel, clean it. That's kind of the downfall when you mix it in the cup because, you know, it smears onto the sides.
Actually, I'm looking at your ingredients, and this whole show has been paleo, hasn't it?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it's all gluten-free. There's nothing.
The only exception being the maple syrup.
Yeah. You gotta live a little, you know. This is my poison. But yeah, everything's really healthy. I guess the only thing that might not be, which would be the granola. But yeah, it is. Everything is very, very healthy. A lot of this is also keto friendly. It's all vegan. It's all sugar free, which is also a bonus. So I'm gonna put the chocolate onto this. Woo. See how lovely that just pours, and then that's gonna be really pretty. Now this one is the mocha, so just keeping that in mind. What would go good with mocha? Well, I'm gonna sprinkle a little cinnamon on it. I'm gonna toss on some almonds and some coconut, just because the contrast. I eat with my eyes, and so do you.
Sugar, and sugar turns to bubbling fat.
Yeah, doesn't it? Okay, so what else can I put on here? You know, I'm gonna use some of my own homemade granola, which is similar to the brownie mix. It just doesn't have any cacao or vanilla in it. So once again, I'll show you. It's like a little crumble. I want to show you how pretty this is. So you can see, let's see if you can see that. See that coming together? And here, yeah, the chia seed does actually. It does. The only thing that, you know, you could change to make it even more is ixnay on the maple syrup and use the monk fruit or the stevia. That would be my only recommendation. But this is actually a very high fat, high protein, low carb breakfast. Super healthy. You can look at that little chocolate layer. Oh my God, it's so good. Okay.
Well, hang on. Are you saying this is not dessert?
It is dessert.
But you're going to eat it for breakfast.
It's dessert and breakfast. Okay, sorry, I got to angle myself here. There we go. It's dessert, it's breakfast, it's a snack. It could be like, if you made a big one, it could be a meal. Like you could do like a vanilla one and then top it with like fruits and stuff like that. You know, it could be a sweeter meal. It doesn't actually have to be sweet either. I just am making it sweet because I'm making it like a dessert. But you could make it like a base like this. This is the mango chai with carrot. I got a little confused. I was gonna go for carrot cake, and then I added the mango and stuff like that. So for this one, I'm gonna kind of stick with that theme. I'm just gonna put some coconut on it because I want the contrast on top. So it's like a little layer of coconut, which is also paleo. It's also keto. It's high fat. It's delicious. Coconut's just one of my favorite like topping ingredients because it's just pretty. You are what you eat, so you got to eat beautiful food, right? This is actually just some dried mango, which I thought would go really nicely with the flavors of the chai, which is ginger, cardamom, and cinnamon. And then there's also turmeric in this one. So this one is like the super anti-inflammatory one. Bam. And just for fun and color, I'm going to add some pumpkin seeds. Green and orange are complementary. And I have a date here. So I'm going to chop up a date. This one's going to be like a dried fruit version. Keep my icing here. Let's see. There's so much stuff stacked here. Okay, there we go. I'm gonna make a little room. Okay, so this is just one little date. And I'm just gonna chop it up so it's in little tiny pieces. And I'm gonna sprinkle that on. So the dates are actually maybe not paleo because they're kind of sugary, but everything else is. All right, so that is looking really, really pretty. And then I'm just gonna sprinkle some carrots on there. And I'm going crazy. I'm gonna add some almonds too. There we go. This is beautiful. All right, there we go. See how pretty that is? Of course. I'll actually, like, when I post, when this is up and I'm not live and like making food, I will post all of these recipes for you. The bases are all pretty much the same, except for this one has orange juice in it. And I'll throw in some inspiration too. Like the matcha is a really good one that you can mix in there, and like the protein powder, which I didn't use. So here we have the mocha, the mango chai spice with a little bit of carrot. And here is just a very vanilla. So a really popular one is just doing this and topping it up with blueberries or, you know, strawberries or like whatever fruits are in season, or you can just have it plain, but I think that's boring when like you could do all of this. Why would you just want to eat this plain? So this one I'm going to top up with some nut butter. Nut butter is one of the things that I like to put on like my smoothie bowls and whatever. So this is peanut butter. It's just because I'm doing that restaurant thing and that's like what they have. Normally I would have like almond butter or something like that. Just for your record, peanuts are one of the most heavily pesticided products. That's why, like back in the day, you know, there were peanuts everywhere in bars and restaurants, and then everything became pesticided, and then all of a sudden everybody became deathly allergic, but like no correlation or no causation, right? Like nobody looks into these things, but that's my hypothesis. I haven't done any scientific examinations or testing on that, but I would love to know if anybody did, because that's what I think and I believe that. All of these like autoimmune disorders that just pop up out of nowhere, like they come from somewhere, and I think it's all the poisons, toxins, and chemicals that they're spraying on our food or other things like putting in our products and stuff. Okay, so this is a little layer of nut butter. I don't know if you can see that. Looks pretty. And this one, I'm going to do blueberry and banana and almond on top. Okay, so I have bananas here. This is also something I normally never have, but I'm doing that thing with the restaurant, so I had to take a bunch of inventory. So here's the banana. And this one is starting to become anti-cancer, as you can see, because it's browning. So I'm just going to slice it, slice it, slice it, slice it. And I'll do one more. I'm just going to fan them out like that. And then I'm going to top it up with some blueberries. And you know what? Why not? So you could put honey on it. I'm going to do maple syrup just because like I want it to be kind of like a blueberry pancake. There we go. And just for good measure, I'm going to add some hemp seeds. There we go. And there's another one. Doesn't that look fancy? Sorry, the light and the angles are like not working for me right now, but what can you do? All right. And then we have the last one, which is chocolate. This one is, it smells so good. So we can really do anything with this last one. I put chocolate syrup on the other one. Chocolate nut butter is also like a big thing for me. I love that. You could go chocolate strawberry. You can do just something simple like blueberry and almonds. Once again, like I said, I like to cook, even though I'm not cooking. I like to prepare food with my eyes. So that's what I usually do. I like to have high contrast food. And oh, actually I didn't put granola on anything. Let me put granola on something. I'll put granola on this one. So I'm going to do a blueberry granola one. We can let Stefanos know that I got this I got this granola in his honor. Look at that.
Actually, he's watching the show.
Huh?
He's watching the show.
All right, Stefanos, this is for you. I saw it today when I was looking for granola because I didn't actually have any, and I was like, hey, so I bought this one just because I thought it was funny. But it's not as funny because he's not on the show. Okay, so I'm gonna do blueberries again because we want to keep this one antioxidizing. And sometimes just if you guys want to have fun when you create your own and you make names up and stuff like that, you can call this the antioxidizing bowl, or you know what I mean? Like you can come up with names with the benefits of what the even looks like you can come up with the benefits of this, so it's like I call them detox brownies. So then people, it's aside from it just being a brownie, they're more incentivized to eat it because it's like, ooh, what's the detox thing? So that's just what I come up with when I'm naming some of my things. I talk about the benefits. There we go. So this one I'm going to add a lot of blueberries. I'm going to make it beautiful. And add in a little coconut sprinkle and a few little almonds. There we go. Strawberries are also really nice and pretty. Here, we'll add another one. OMG, look at that. Woo. Okay. Is that me speaking? Am I hearing myself as a reverb?
Yeah, no, that was me.
Stefanos, yeah, this does look like you. Look at that. Trippy eyes. Stefanos granola. All right, so what do we have here? We have the orange and turmeric. I should have made a chocolate orange one just to show you guys, but I'm sure you can imagine it actually really doesn't look that much different than the regular chocolate. Might be a little more orange. This is our chocolate mocha with the chocolate syrup. And this is the spiced chai with mango and dried mango and a little carrot. And then this is the blueberry granola one with coconut. So we got peanut butter one. Another thing you could do on this one, just to make it more traditional, is you could do peanut butter and then a layer of jam and then the bananas and then the fruits or whatever. Or if you don't have to use fruits at all, if you use the jam technically, but that's an option for you. All right, so we're done with the chia seeds. If anybody has any questions, aside from if the ingredients are or I'll post the recipes because I will go check on my brownies. Anybody have any questions?
They look beautiful.
Thank you. Which one do you want, Ed? We got number one. Actually, I'm just curious to know which ones people would like the most. Do they want the mocha with chocolate syrup and then the granola on top?
Okay, guys, vote in the chat.
Vote in the chat. Which one do we like the best? And then this one is the chocolate with granola, blueberries, almond, and coconut. This one is the peanut butter, maple syrup, blueberry, and banana with a vanilla base. And then this one is the anti-inflammatory mango chai. Boom. Okay, so let me know in the comments below, and I'll be back. I'm just going to go check on our detox brownies. Pull it out from the freezer. Okay. Oh my God, I love it when everything works out. That was the perfect amount of time. You can see it's actually it's solid now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to sprinkle just a few little things on top. You don't have to do this. I just like to because it kind of it's like garnishing. It kind of reveals what's inside the brownies. But you these brownies actually don't taste like there's nuts inside of them. It tastes like a flour baked brownie. It even has that really fudgy consistency that you would expect, but it's completely raw, completely sugar-free, gluten-free, and actually healthy. And these ones are even healthier because I used the activated charcoal. So there we go. Boom.
All right, the votes are in.
All right, which one do we like?
It's all over the place.
Number 2.
Yeah, 2 seems to be getting.
Which one was number 2? I don't remember.
You lined them up there, didn't you?
So it was the.
No, that was number 3.
Okay, I think it was this one.
Yep.
Was it the granola with the banana? Oh no, the chocolate, blueberry, and granola one, right? Is that number 2?
No, a lot of people are talking about the mocha now.
The mocha. Oh yeah. The mocha. That would actually be my favorite. And then I'd probably go for the chocolate one with the granola, just because I don't like banana. This one I'm sure is delicious. You know what? Actually, I wonder if this changes anything. I'm going to put some Stefano's granola on this one and give it a little crunch. So just before, I want to give you guys one more little takeaway, if maybe a few more, but one for sure. When you're thinking about nutrition in your food, don't necessarily think about the calories or the proteins and stuff like that. I don't worry about that at all. And I'm vegan and I'm like thriving. I'm really strong. I'm healthy. I try to eat a rainbow of colors, because if you're eating a rainbow of colors, you're getting a wide spectrum of vitamins and nutrients. The chocolate mocha one. Yeah, man. Is that chocolate syrup? It's the drink of the gods. It's so good. But I'm actually, you know what? I'm going to go crazy now. I'm going to put a little chocolate syrup on this one with the blueberry and granola. Ooh. Yummy. Oh, it's so good. Come on. It's so good. Oh my God. I wish you guys could try some of it. You guys have to make it. Delicious and nutritious. Okay. So these are the brownies. I'm actually just going to cut it so that you guys can see what the end result is like. Cause it's like, it's sitting in a pan. Just, you guys don't know. So, let's see. I don't need any sort of fancy knife. But I'm going to warm my knife just so that it cuts a little better. Okay. So I'm going to do these in 3, 1, 2. Yeah, so this little thing I'm going to turn into 12 brownies. So who wants one?
Can you save them for Saturday?
Yeah, I will. That's a good idea. I'm going to bring them on Saturday. So maybe I should cut them smaller. Boom. Okay.
And hopefully they don't catch fire.
Yeah. 12. Let's see. 12. Yeah. Okay. 1.
Would this recipe make me chubby?
Well, I don't know. I eat it and I'm not chubby. I mean, I think more than like, you know, worrying about what it is you eat, I think you should enjoy food, be mindful of what you eat. So you're not eating like, you know, all the things we need to detox, which is the purpose of this, right? Is to show you how to eat healthy and detox. This is really healthy. If you eat too much of anything, you can become chubby. Like, you know, before, like I lost weight. I was never big. I was always like fit and healthy and stuff like that. But it wasn't until I started detoxing that I actually like, you know, went back to like my like, this is how I feel my best, right? I was just a little thicker before, and it's because I had the mentality, like when I went into integrative nutrition, I became like obsessed with getting nutrition into my body, and I wasn't getting enough of it out, right? So it's more, I think, and I talked on the last live that we did about fasting, and like you don't fast for weight loss. That's just one of the side effects that happens. And it's not necessarily because you're eating less. I mean, yeah, that happens, and it happens slowly and gradually. It shouldn't happen very fast. but it's actually because it gives your body the time to eliminate. We have been programmed to think we need to eat like 3 times a day on like this clock. That's completely unnatural. Your body might not need to eat right away. Maybe your body actually needs to like clean. It's called breakfast because it's breaking the fast, right? You actually wake up nice and skinny in the morning because your body's had a chance to detox and it's probably had the longest amount of time in between meals and it's had time to process it. So sometimes less is more and eating better food. So like this is all like dessert, but it's delicious and it's healthy and it's high vibrational and it's actually detoxifying. So rather than thinking about like, you know, what it is you can and can't eat, I think you should eat like all the good stuff and just eat mindfully. Okay. All right. I'm so excited to give this to you. Well, I'm just going to peel it out. Look at how easy that is. Wow. Does that look good?
Yep.
Yes. All right. There you go, guys. There are some recipes for you. These are my famous raw vegan brownies. I made a detox version with you. And I put CBD in this one. So this is actually, I've never made these before. So you guys are the first. Next one, I'll do THC. Then we have the chia seed pudding. So I'll put these ones in the menu or in the menu. I'll put these in the comments when this thing is over, and then you guys can make them. And if you guys get creative and make your own, and you want to share the recipe with me, I'd love to know. So, well, okay. So ketogenic, like, you know, for keto, it's mainly avoiding like starch. You know what I mean? Like you don't want to eat like starchy carbs. In all reality, everything you eat, even protein, eventually converts to sugar. So I actually do eat like I don't like to label myself like I'm vegan, but I don't even like that term necessarily. I like to say plant-based just because of all the stuff. It's like holding this brownie. I'm just gonna put it back. Like a lot of these things, you don't want to eat like as a keto, you don't want to eat the higher sugary ones. Like you don't want to eat like mangoes. Or if you do eat mangoes in all essence are actually very healthy for you and they have a lot of fiber. So if you're eating a mango, eating a little bit of mango could do it, but you could also eat a yellow pepper. That's not as sugary. So you're still eating the yellow and getting those nutrients from the yellow color, but you're not getting the sugar. So just knowing, like, you know, gauging, like, is this super sweet? Because if it's super sweet, then it is better. But like, I mean, you can eat carrots. That's your orange. You can eat an orange pepper. Let's see. Nuts are also like, nuts are very keto friendly and they're very healthy for you. And they have protein in them as well. Let's see. I'm just going to give you tomatoes. You can eat tomatoes. You can eat red peppers, sun-dried tomatoes, green. Eat your greens. Greens are actually really good. And they're the color of the heart chakra. So the colors also correlate to the chakras. It's because it's vibrational, right? The colors are actually something that we synthesize in our eyes based on the light. Oh, look, I just disappeared. What happened? There we go. Hi.
Yeah, we're 25 minutes past our cutoff time. So
okay.
No, don't be apologetic. I'm sure a lot of people are watching and enjoying this.
Okay, well, I started late.
And I got a feeling a lot of people are going to be trying these recipes real soon.
Oh, and turmeric. So adding turmeric to stuff. I'm going to give you guys one more recipe that is like my favorite. I use about a teaspoon to 2 teaspoons. Use it to like your flavor, your preference, and like whatever your goal is. I make it's called a golden milk, or it's a turmeric latte. So I use turmeric and I mix it into a little bit of nut milk, and then I add some cinnamon. I add a little vanilla, and then I add either maple syrup or monk fruit to flavor or to taste. And then I actually have this little handheld thing. It's called a Mr. Whippet, and you just put it in the pan and it like can foam stuff. But if you want to make it kind of foamy, you don't need to. It's just, I think it's better. You can just put it inside a blender or something. Don't put it inside a NutriBullet because it will explode with the heat. But you can pulse it a few times, and then it will get the foam that you want in a latte. So drink that before bed, sprinkle a little cinnamon on it or some cardamom if you want to get your libido up. Another thing is also ginger. So like the chai spice things go really good with the turmeric, and they're all in the same anti-inflammatory, antimicrobial family. So it's a really good thing to drink before you go to bed. It will help you sleep as well. So that's all. No more recipes for you guys today. You're cut off.
Thank you so much for coming on.
That's me.
What can I say? Oh, don't forget to post the recipes if you could, please.
I will. Yeah, I will. Totally. I'll do it right now.
And where can people find those recipes?
Well, in the chat, but you can follow me on Instagram. I'm kindred_kitchens. It's up there. And then I have a group on Facebook. I have a page too, but like it's literally just my Instagram. And I don't really do anything with it, but my group I'm more active in, and people can share, and you can post your own stuff and you can ask questions. So that one's I'm a little more engaged. And you can always message me on Facebook. I'm Angela Elizabeth Marie. And I do have a website, which is kindredkitchens.ca. Kitchens with an S. So Kind Red Kitchens, kindred spirits as well, just so you know. All right, that's it.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Derek, play us out.
Derek! Thank you.
Steamroller, she a steamroller. Slow lane, better pull over. Overseas, yeah, I roll for a coach. G.I. Joe on you king cobras. New cadence, reloaded. Lil' friend, steamroller. Her love, yeah, need more. Move out the way, or you heat storm. Like Rihanna on Battleship. She will show you with the savages. Leave your whole heart in some bandages. Leave your whole heart in some bandages. Titanic if she see you cut. Killer games ain't never had. That's babe, better watch your path. Steamroller, yeah, that goes so back. When it go down, she don't see no one. We was in the with the Maggies. She a rider, just like home. Out that dough, that stipend. Never be swayed by the sirens. She a real one, no fly fish. No castaway, no islands. She like Rihanna on Battleship. She will show you with the savages. Leave your whole heart in some bandages. Leave your whole heart in some bandages. Titanic if she see you cut. Killer games ain't never had. That's babe, better watch your path. Steamroller, yeah, that goes so back. Go so back.
So